Now, Southeast Asia is slowing down. Trade tensions, weak exports, and uncertain policies are weighing on growth across the region. Here at home, the Philippine economy grew by 5.4% in the first quarter, better than most of our neighbors, but still short of target. So our economic managers have since lowered the full-year GDP forecast to 5.5% to 6.5%, down from the original 6 to 8% target. And with tax collections closely tied to GDP, the big question now is whether the BIR can still deliver on its record 3.23 trillion target for 2025. Joining us now to talk more about this and how they plan to hit that lofty goal despite a slowing economy is BIR Commissioner Romeo Lumagui. Hi, June, and welcome to Business 360.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the opportunity to explain to our taxpayers and the public what's been going
so
on.
much information to get from you, June. Let's talk about holding the line in a cooling economy. The BIR's revenue targets are tied to GDP, but with GDP forecasts trimmed, is this revenue goal still realistic?
Well, as of now, again, the formula for making or formulating the collection target is really partly based on the economic performance of the country. And again, when the 3.23 trillion was formulated last year, it was on the assumption that the GDP would perform by more than 6%,
right.
And the current GDP is lower than that. So, of course, there will be difficulties, but we are doing our best that despite all these despite the performance of the economy, we will still be able to achieve our collection target.
Yeah, the assumptions have changed since you enacted on that formula. How was the first half for the BIR? You had a 1.5 trillion target for the first half.
Yes, okay. Around more or less 1.5 trillion. And we're proud to say that we have achieved that 1.5 trillion for the first half of the year. So the BIR's performance is really doing well for the first semester.
Okay. Earlier, off camera, you said that you not just hit that target, you went over it a bit. Just a little bit, but what was that margin?
Around maybe a 0.5% over target.
Okay, what does that say about where we are and where we're headed as we, really get into the second half of the year?
It says that the BIR is right on track, that we're doing the right, we're going the right path, and what we're doing is good. I mean, we just have to continue and improve on a lot of on certain things.
Yeah, it's a positive signal that you can hit the revenue targets despite all the geopolitical risks and all the uncertainty coming from overseas. Now, what are the sectors that are doing the best, and what are the sectors that are having a hard time in this environment?
For the sectors, we have in terms of growth rate, the percentage, we're looking at the arts, entertainment, and recreation. It's doing well. In terms of percentage increase compared with the performance of last year. We're also looking at administrative and support services. It also is performing well for this year in terms of percentage increase in collections. Activities of household as employers, all these things, it grew by around double or 100% increase. But in terms of absolute numbers, we've seen a huge increase in manufacturing and information and communication industry. But in terms of taxpayer segment, it's good that we're seeing a growth in small taxpayers. And by small taxpayers, we mean having gross revenues from at least 3 million to 20 million pesos. Mm-hmm. So we've seen increase in by more than 80% tax collection from this taxpayer segment.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, zooming out, that 3.23, that lofty record high target, you're still on track to hit it and not looking to recalibrate that anytime soon.
In terms of recalibration, I think there might be a recalibration of the goal, again, considering that the assumption is not going to happen. So if we use the formula for arriving at the right collection target, that it should be recalibrated. Mm-hmm. But again, there's no final figure yet.
Okay, when might that final figure come out? When might that recalibration take place?
Maybe around the third quarter.
Third quarter. Okay, we'll have to check back with you with that on that then. So the second half is make or break for for the BIR. What are the headwinds this second half of the year? What are the hurdles that you need to overcome? What are the challenges that the BIR faces as we head into this last stretch of the year?
Of course, what's good about now is that we have that momentum again because the performance is doing good. So we just have to maintain again what we're doing. Be aggressive on the tax enforcement. Go really hard on those evading taxes and help the taxpayers to comply because that's really the key, that we have to make it easier for the taxpayers to comply with their tax obligations. So the challenge is, again, reaching out to the taxpayers, and we've been doing that, and we are ready to extend our even our operating hours, just like what happened for the deadline in the estate tax amnesty. I mean, our offices were open until midnight just to accommodate all the last-minute applicants for the amnesty.
Of course, for revenue to come in, right? Another way to help our collections and to help taxpayers is modernization. At this day and age, how much of the BIR's payments are now digital?
Approximately around 90% of the payments are now online. We've been ramping up all these e-services so that people will not have to go to our offices and go to the banks or all those things. So you can do it online. And especially our e-lounges, that's what we're really proud of right now. That last year, we have instructed all the district offices to have e-lounges. That would be complete with internet, printers, and everything. So a dedicated examiner will be there to guide and assist the taxpayers.
Yeah, as digital adoption gains more traction, what's next for the BIR? How far are we away from real-time audits?
What's next is, like, we have a lot of projects to further improve our systems. One important project is the electronic invoicing, because it's a real-time communication between the seller and the buyer and the BIR. So every time a business issues an invoice, it goes directly to our system and goes directly to the customer. So in that sense, we have a real-time, or what we can see, the transactions of the taxpayer. So we're trying to complete that as soon as possible, and also improve the online registration. We have this online registration and update system where you can register your business, or you can get a digital TIN ID in that system. But we're improving that further to include closure and also the taxpayer ledger portal.
All right, what are you looking forward to this second half? You know, as the head of the BIR, what are the things that you're looking forward to that'll help make your job easier?
Well, more cooperation with the taxpayers. We created that multi-sectoral partnership agreement. So I expect that it will still continue, and a lot more collaboration between the private sector and us, so that BIR cannot do this alone. It really needs the help of the taxpayers and commitment of the taxpayers to really pay the correct taxes.
Yeah, correct. Speaking of taxpayers, you've gone after vape sellers, POGOs, influencers, m-commerce, mobile commerce. What's your strategy? How do you know which sectors to do it? How do you do it fairly? How do you do it broad-based? How do you know who to take a look at?
In terms of enforcement, what we did was go this strategy. We have a strong approach and a soft approach, meaning we go strong against those intentionally evading taxes. Like this industry, like for example, vape industry is relatively new. So a lot of the vape players at first did not know what their obligations are. So what we did at first is that we tried to understand them. They have no idea that they have to register and all these things. So we were heavy on information dissemination.
Yeah.
We discussed, or we talked with the industry and the associations, that these are your duties as
and a lot of these
players.
industries are new. So even you have to, everyone needs to catch up with each other.
Right. Even the influencers. So some of them really just didn't know that they have to register. They just went online and then they earned. But so what we did was just soft approach, kept on reminding them, and we go hard once that we've already done our part in information dissemination, and they still do not comply. Then that's the time that we go hard. And those, of course, those involved in fraudulent activities like the ghost receipts or fake receipts, we've been very hard against them from the very beginning.
All right. Who's the biggest taxpayer in the entertainment industry, if you can say?
Well, during the last tax campaign in February, we gave a lot of awards to showbiz personalities. And
that's a very interesting list. That's why people are always interested to see, based on which industry, who are the top taxpayers. Will you be releasing something like this?
no, it depends on them because they have to consent to it. There's a confidentiality, but as far as the awardees during the last tax campaign kickoff, then they agreed to be awarded.
There are definitely pros and cons of receiving that kind of award. Okay, June, on another front, there's growing pressure from lawmakers to tighten the rules on online gambling. Some are calling for a full ban. Others just want more heavy taxes. What are your thoughts on this?
It should be studied very carefully because the online gaming or online gambling generates revenues. So we have to balance between regulating or even prohibiting versus the collections that it generates for the country. So as of now, we still have to really check all the effects,
Right.
everything.
There's so much more to study. But based on last year's figures, June, how much does this sector contribute to the BIR's revenue base?
For 2024, that would be around more than 17 billion for 2024.
So,
and for this year, for January to May, I think it's already 10 billion.
well, that sounds like a chunk. What would you
Yes.
say? How would you describe that figure?
It's substantial considering that, again, this is just a single industry and it contributes that much to our
because
collection.
more taxes would be very difficult to enforce. That's why some people are calling for a complete ban. Where do you stand on this exactly?
Again, it has to be balanced because sometimes it's impractical to have a complete ban. So it really depends on cooperation between government agencies. If the policy is for a complete ban, then everybody should cooperate towards that directive that we have to be serious in banning it completely. Or if it's tighter regulation, then we have to do our part. Each government agency has to do their part in everything.
Okay. On a more personal note, you're halfway through your term. What more would you like to do at the BIR?
I think,
You've already done a lot.
Yes.
To give credit to you, you hit targets that no one has hit in 20 years. So kudos to you. What more would you like to do, June?
I think one is very important to me is the digital transformation. There are a lot to improve on the digital transformation, to make it more seamless and to streamline a lot of processes because it's ongoing. The digital transformation is ongoing, but the complete everything will be finished by 2028. That's a target. So the electronic invoicing, the complete feature of the online registration and update system, and all of these will be felt by the taxpayers towards the end.
What would you say is the hardest part about your job?
The hardest part is convincing the public to pay taxes correctly. We know that taxes is really negative from the beginning because you're parting with your hard-earned money and to pay the government. But ultimately, it's convincing them that this is an act of patriotism. This is an act of love of country, and that we have to do our fair share in helping the government so that the government can do its part in growing the economy and also helping our citizens and fellow
Have you
Filipinos.
thought of what your next chapter might look like, June, after this successful, very interesting stint at the BIR, where you've hit really sky-high targets, and in a year of slow growth, you're on track to perhaps even hitting this year's lofty target. Have you thought of what might be next for you?
To be honest, I haven't. There are a lot of different options, but I don't like to think about it as of now because just want to focus on improving the BIR and making sure that we achieve our targets, whether it be digital transformation and whether it be the collection target.
Okay, and for all those, everybody has something to grow in business, right? Targets to hit. What advice can you give them on, you have trillion peso targets. You've got it, the pressure is on. How do you handle it, and what advice can you give to other entrepreneurs and businessmen out there that face really tough challenges and really high targets as well? How are you doing it, and what advice can you give them?
Well, the advice that I could give them is just stay focused. Do everything, do the right thing. So as long as you do the right thing and you remain focused despite all the distractions, despite everything, remain focused on the goal and making sure that you do everything in order to achieve that goal, then I think you'll be on track.
And you've got the vigor too. Thank you so much for your time, BIR Commissioner Jun Lumagui.
Thank you very much as well.